Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lazy Podcast. This is episode 4. Thank you very much to everyone who listened episode 3 of the Lazy Podcast, how YouTube helped me find a job. I got a lot of good feedback for it, and again, thanks very much to everyone who listened to it and who took the time to give me some feedback. In this episode, I thought we were going to talk about something different. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube with the topic of how to get more views, or crack the YouTube algorithm, or how to get noticed, or all those kinds of videos. And in my opinion, they all have one thing in common. And first of all, I don't know if they are right or wrong, and I don't think that it really matters. But what I think is, first of all, they all say the same thing, obviously. There's a few things that you could do to, maybe get more views. Like if you post, every day, or if you post more often than what you usually do. If you have a catchy title, if you have a nice thumbnail. Now, for example, YouTube is pushing for like watch time, so maybe longer videos. And if you have a nice written out description, all of those things do help. I'm not saying they don't help. It's just all of those videos out there. First of all, it's a very good keyword, and it gets a lot of views. How to get views, crack the YouTube algorithm, get noticed, all of that, stand out, and all of that stuff gets a lot of views because this is, YouTube. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber now. Everyone wants to be on social media, and everyone wants to get famous. And a few years ago, it was TV, and it was, movies, and I don't know, like radio or any of that. Now is YouTube and social media, and that's just how people are. That's not, and I'm not saying that all of those people do it for the views, but let's be honest here, that a lot of people would do it for the views because that's how people are. And the other thing is, in my opinion, they do more bad than good. And I mean, they make you focus in the wrong things. They make you focus in not on the content that you should be making, which that is your main thing that you should be doing, that you should be focusing on it, making good content, making the best content that you possibly can, or, with the means necessary, of course, and trying to learn through that as well. This ties in with the previous episode of the Lazy Podcast, how YouTube helped me find a job. And if you want to listen to that, it's going to be a link in the notes below in the description box. The point is that you learn something, and those videos, I think they have that vibe to them that you can just get views without doing anything. You can just get views with one trick, and that is 100% not true. I have seen thousands of those videos, and I have been posting on YouTube for the last 3 to 4 years, and it has taken me this long to be able to have 1,000 subscribers and to be able to have people watch my stuff. And that's why I do not like those kinds of videos, because I think most of them are just fake, and then most of them have stuff that you would be doing anyway, like make your content as good as possible. Like, oh, cheers for that, mate. I wasn't trying to do my content as good as possible. Like those silly things like that. I don't know. No one knows if they actually help, because no one actually knows what the YouTube algorithm favors, and things change all the time. For example, now we sort of know that obviously YouTube, because every business, YouTube is a business, and YouTube as a business wants you to stay on the platform as much as possible. YouTube as a business wants you to spend as much time as possible on the platform and not go to other platforms. That makes sense, because the longer you stay on the platform, the more ads you can see, the more money they can make. That's just, that's how it works. And for example, a couple of years ago, it was really, really popular that tags helped a lot videos to stand out, and everyone tried to use tags. Like smaller YouTubers used tags for, like bigger YouTubers, and like clickbaiting tags and all that, and that's I think that's on YouTube's community guidelines, or that you shouldn't use tags for other people, for example, other people's names. And I think that is what's ultimately very wrong with those videos, is because they make smaller YouTubers when they first start, that there is a trick that you can do to get views, and there isn't just one thing. It's a combination of things. And if by making those kinds of clickbaity videos, because they are clickbaity, and because, you know, like if you're just starting a channel, for example, and you go around on YouTube looking how to get more views, and you see a video with a title saying how to get more views, 0 subscribers, then you're gonna be like, oh wow, there is a trick to get more views without working. And that's what I ultimately think is really so bad, because it makes people think that there's a trick that they can do, then they don't have to work for it, then they don't have to get better, and if they just do this trick, and everyone will think that that's how it is, and it's not actually like that, and it's just a shame. So let's just write on YouTube how to get more views. Immediately you can see so many videos. Like there is one saying 3 easy in brackets and free ways to get more views on YouTube, and then it says 3 practical tips on how to get more views. Ready to start making money on YouTube? See, that is such a clickbait title, and there's nothing wrong with clickbaiting, I don't think. The problem is that if you're just starting a YouTube channel, then you read this, then immediately you're gonna think that there's just easy ways to do it, and just there isn't. You need to work hard, you need to keep posting for so many years. If you look at PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or Casey Neistat or anyone that you like on YouTube, PewDiePie has said that he was making videos for 3 years until he actually made any money on YouTube. And Mr. Beast was like making videos for 5 years or something like that until he actually made any money, until he grew big. So this shows us that these videos are just complete bullshit, and they don't actually teach you anything. And on the contrary, they do bad. They actually hurt you more than what you think. And the other point is, like, no one knows if they actually help. No one actually knows. As I said in the beginning, it's probably a couple of things that you could do. Have a nicer title, have a nicer thumbnail, always write out your description box, which you would do anyway, and try to have as good content as possible. I think that's like self-explanatory. I don't think that you need someone to help you with that. That's what you want to do anyway. That's what you want to grow. And then I see all these videos. There's another one saying how to get more views on YouTube in 3 minutes. Wow, in 3 minutes. I've been posting videos for 3 years. I could have just watched this one, and then in 3 minutes I could have had more views. Again, this has 500,000 views, and it's posted a few months ago. And the thumbnail is before 10 views a day, after 1,000 views a day. Of course, you're gonna click on it. If you've been making videos for a while, and then you're like, I need to watch this, and of course it's a 10-minute video, and of course it's full of ads when you open it. And there's nothing wrong with people making money on YouTube. I love that. That's what I want to do. The point is that, and no one is talking about this. I don't get how no one talks about this. And for example, how to promote your new YouTube channel and get subscribers fast. And there's like a really fast, like thumbnail with like a ticking clock on it and big letters, and that is a great thumbnail actually, but that's gonna make you click. That's what it is. There's another one saying, stupid simple method to get more views in 2020. This was posted 2 weeks ago and it has 55,000 views. Wow, that is great. And YouTube algorithm update, April-May 2020. Why your YouTube views decreased. How to get more views on YouTube videos fast 2020. Get more subscribers. Small YouTuber tips. 2 months ago, 55,000 views. 2 years ago, how to get more views on YouTube. 4 tips. 1.4 million views. As you can see, there is a pattern here, and another thing that I am actually seeing now that I didn't see before is almost the same faces. When you obviously that's going to be different to everyone if you're connected, but it's almost the same faces here, the same people trying to rank for these kind of keywords, and there's like certain YouTube channels that they have the same videos every now and then because obviously they make money, and like YouTube hacks nobody talks about, how to grow from 0 views to I don't know what number views and all of that. And it's a great title and it's a great thumbnail, and it actually helps. The one person that gets help from that video is the person that's making it, because people are so interested in how to do it, how to get views fast. And in my opinion, that is the wrong thing to focus. You need to focus on your content. You need to start learning things, whether that's shooting videos, whether that's making better audio, whether that's editing better videos, whether you're gaining a new skill or anything. YouTube, in my opinion, should be something that helps you as a person first of all, and then if you enjoy it and if you as a person think it's a great fit for you, then I think you should focus on other things like making money and affiliate marketing and all of that stuff. Right, enough of these how to get more views videos. In my opinion, they are the worst kinds of videos online, and in my opinion they do more bad than they do good. They make you focus on the wrong things. They all say the same things, and they don't even know if they actually work, because no one actually knows what the algorithm is looking for. Yes, there is tips and tricks and like stuff like upload more frequently and all of that maybe could help you, but actually no one really knows for sure, and they're just clickbaity and they're just taking advantage of younger people that want to be a YouTuber and they want to do it fast without putting in the work, and they want to do it easily. And in my opinion, there is no easy way in anything that you want to do, let alone YouTube. I'm only saying this because of my experience, and if you agree, please let me know in the comments what do you think of these kind of videos. And moving on now, I want to talk about something else for the second segment of the podcast. I want to talk about a TV series called Dark. It's on Netflix. Obviously this has been out for a while. I think the first series came out in 2017 or something. For some reason I never watched it back then, and I watched it all now in like a matter of a week or something. And let me tell you, this is a brilliant TV series. This is amazing. It's a German production. Netflix is doing a great job with the foreign language productions, whether that's movies or TV series. They're doing a very good job with that. So basically there's going to be spoilers up ahead for Dark if you haven't seen it, for everything up until now. So basically the plot is we start out with a person committing suicide, and we hear something about time travel and then we hear all kinds of things happening, like on the first episode. So it takes place in this German town called, I don't remember how the town is called, Winden, I think, something like that. Basically, a kid goes missing, and then there's all kinds of shit happening after that. It's sort of like a mystery drama, and one thing they do very, very good is having, like the gimmick, because their gimmick is time travel, obviously. And one thing they do really good is they sort of keep it really grounded. I mean, yes, it's time travel, you cannot really keep it grounded, but they do a very good job of it. I think they do a way better job than like Infinity Endgame did, or like even any other movie or TV series that deal with time travel. So basically, in this town we follow sort of like the main 4 families, which is the Nielsens, the Conwalds. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the German names wrong, probably am. So the Nielsens, the Conwalds, and there's like the Dopplers and the Tiedemans. I think that's like sort of the 4 main families. And so basically the kid goes missing, and everyone starts looking for the kid, and then sort of we see that everyone is sort of like hates each other in this town. And then in like any other small community, there's like secrets, and because they've been living there and they went to school together, all of these people, and they know each other. And there's like, just like in any other small town, there's like gossips and different things going on. And in the sort of the coming episodes, we see a mysterious man wearing a hoodie, and at this point we don't know who that is. Obviously we know later that's Jonas from the future. And so Jonas Conwald is the guy's that commits suicide son, and then the older version has come from the future. By the way, if I'm doing a terrible job explaining this show, you need to watch this, because I'm trying to explain it as better as I can, but it's actually a really complicated series. So basically he goes, then older Jonas tells younger Jonas at the time that he gives him the map. And so through these caves there is like an opening, basically, that you can use to time travel 33 years into the future, or 33 years into the past. And these caves are under the nuclear power plant in Germany. And there's also the power plant, they have something to do with this as well. One of the characters there that we see in the past, Claudia Tiedemann, she's one of the Tiedemans, basically. She discovers all of that timeline, time travel stuff by her older self, because there's this war going on between the time travelers, and then Claudia, obviously, and older Claudia comes back and warns younger Claudia that there's all kinds of things happening, and this show is way, way complicated. And so basically in the second episode we find out, after Jonas goes into the future with the equipment that older Jonas from the future gave him, he goes into the past, in the 80s, and then there we find out that Mikkel, the kid that's been missing, is actually in the past, and somehow he traveled to the past from 2018 or whatever it is, 2017. And there we see he meets a girl called Hannah, and then at that point Jonas realizes that if he saves Mikkel, then he would be erasing himself, because Mikkel is actually his father, who went into the past and then met his mother Hannah, and then they had Jonas. So by him saving young Mikkel, he would be erasing himself basically. And this moment was like, I was like, oh shit, like this is crazy stuff happening. And obviously, as Jonas comes to that realization, he decides to go back, and he also likes Mikkel's sister at present time. Her name is Martha, and obviously now he realizes that she's his aunt, so he cannot actually, be in love with her and all of that stuff. And he has like some sort of, not a great time. In the meantime, we meet this person called Noah. He's messing with everybody basically, and Noah is this like the bad guy of our show. And we actually find out that Noah is sent by Adam. Adam is the leader of the time travelers. So what they want to do basically is they want to invent a time traveling machine, because up until this point, you can only travel 33 years to the future or 33 years back. And they have these devices that can travel anywhere at any point in time basically. And after that, we find out that they are the ones who actually are kidnapping the kids and dropping them into different timelines, because we find out that one of the Nielsens, Ulrich Nielsen, which is Mikkel's, the kid that goes into the past, his father, his brother basically in the 80s went missing, and we find out that the same people, Noah and the time travelers, were responsible for that as well, dropping bodies all over different timelines, testing their time machine, which is in the nuclear power plant. By the way, if you're lost at this point and you are unable to follow, I completely understand. I think I need to watch this show one more time just to admire all the detail that has gone into to the work of this. And then since we started talking about Ulrich, he decides, so he actually understands that it's not where is Mikkel, but it's when. So he understands that there's some sort of time traveling shit going on, and then he goes into the caves, and he goes into the tunnel under the cave. As I said, you can travel 33 years in the future or 33 years in the past. Ulrich was following what's his name, Doppler something, one of the people who is responsible, who works for Helge Doppler. He works for Noah basically, and he was following older Helge, because older Helge is in the hospital, and he wants to refix everything that he has done, the children that he has killed and kidnapped and all of that. And Ulrich actually accidentally ends up in 1953 instead of in 1986 that he wanted to go. And there he meets Helge as a little kid, as a little boy, and he tries to kill him. And by killing Helge, he wants to basically erase what happens in the future. He actually doesn't kill Helge but at this point we are fully aware that you cannot change whatever has happened. So the show is very good in keeping its own rules, basically. So they've said from the start, you cannot break the circle, you cannot change the things that have already happened. Even if you had killed Helge as a kid, he still wouldn't have been able to change what happened. Anyway, long story short, Ulrich ends up trapped in 1953, and Claudia's father, Claudia Tiedemann, the scientist that we said earlier,
I don't remember his name. Let me look for it. I think it's Alexander. Yeah. Or something. I'm not sure. No, Egon. Alexander is Claudia's daughter's husband, basically. So Egon Tiedemann is a policeman in 1953, a young policeman, and he in 1986 he hates Ulrich, basically, but obviously Egon doesn't know that, but Ulrich does, because Ulrich grew up in the 80s. Basically he gets stuck in 1953, and at some point they found out Charlotte Doppler, which is Helge's granddaughter. Obviously she no, she's not his granddaughter. She's his son's wife, basically. It's getting so confusing. She finds out by looking at an old paper of a picture of Ulrich from the 50s, saying, is this the child murderer? Basically, they found out now, and after a while, they find out about all the time traveling shit, and there's like all kinds of confusions going on. And then Mikkel's mother, obviously, she goes into the school archive and she sees a picture of Mikkel as a kid in the 80s. And one thing that's really shocked me is how has no one known all of that stuff. So basically, there's a circle, like I don't know how they call it, but everything is connected and everyone is related to everyone. And what Jonas is trying to do is to break the circle. And I'm just quickly going through what's happened on the show. Obviously you need to watch it, but Jonas wants to break the circle, so he decides to stop his father from killing himself, basically. And then he hopes that's gonna stop all the chain reactions after that. When his father kills himself, then Mikkel goes missing, and then Ulrich goes on the past, and then Ulrich tries to kill Helge, and then he sees Noah, and then Hannah goes back in the past, and then Jonas goes there too, and then Jonas gets lost. So he's trying to prevent all of that, basically. And then in season 2, we find out that the leader of the travelers is actually Jonas, older Jonas. Jonas is an old man, and he tricks younger Jonas once more. And basically, what his plan is, he needs to make younger Jonas lose Martha, because he loves Martha, and then he comes back and kills Martha. And then younger Jonas obviously watches that, and then he says, you need to carry this pain because you need to become what I've become. So the circle continues, obviously. Adam's plan is to destroy the world, basically, and build a new one, more or less. So yeah, this show is really, really complicated. And then basically we find out that as Mikkel goes into the past, and obviously he gets married to Hannah, and then they have Jonas, and basically they're all related to each other now. And then we found out that Elizabeth and Francesca Doppler are Charlotte, the policewoman's daughters. And we find out that Elizabeth, who is obviously the deaf girl, she's Noah's wife, and that's in the future. So basically this is like, the show has many mind-blowing things like this, but Francesca is Charlotte's daughter, but she's also her mother. So there's this like circle of Francesca gives birth to Charlotte, and then Charlotte gives birth to Francesca. Again, that's just like a crazy thing. So after Francesca gets, obviously, Francesca is born, and then the apocalypse happens, the world gets destroyed, and then she meets Noah. They have a kid. They name it Charlotte, and then the circle continues basically to infinity. And obviously Adam or Jonas knew all of this stuff, and he was using Noah, of course, for his own mission. And at the end, Noah tries to kill Adam, but he eventually gets killed by his own sister. And another really, really interesting thing that happened, obviously, is the Tiedemans. Regina, who is Claudia's daughter, she has cancer, and then Claudia comes back. Claudia from the 80s, basically. She is forced to kill. So she sees on the paper that her father dies a specific day, and then on that specific day, she goes to save him, basically, and then she ends up killing herself. And then Jonas shows up and tells her we need to go to the future, and they all she gets locked in with Francesca that we talked about earlier. They get locked into the bunker, obviously, to survive the apocalypse, because at the end there's like some sort of like time traveling paradox explosion happening, and then that's where the season 2 ends, obviously. Another really, really interesting thing is Hannah, Jonas's mother, and Michael's wife. She goes into the past in the 50s trying to save Ulrich, and Ulrich obviously asks if he loves her, obviously, and then he tries to lie. He doesn't love her, obviously. He loves his family and Mikael and his kids, obviously, and she decides to leave him there, and she's actually flirting with Egon Tiedemann. So I don't know if there's like another thing going on there. I don't know if I actually don't know what's gonna happen after that, but it was really, really interesting how she ended up with talking with Egon. So yeah, guys, as you can hear, there's a lot of things happening in this show, and this is a really amazing show. And one of the things that they do very, very good is having the characters, showing the characters in different timelines, and you actually seeing how they end up or where they started. And we see that with I think all of the characters. We see it with Mikael, we see it with Jonas, we see it with Hannah, we see it with Noah, we see it with basically everyone. And Noah, in my opinion, is like a really, really interesting character. And at the end, we see older Noah getting killed, obviously, but younger Noah is still alive. So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen next. And another really interesting story was Helge's story as well. When he was really young, he was visited by Noah, and then he traveled with the time machine. So basically Helge was one of the first kids to travel with the time machine, more than 33 years apart. This is a very, very good show, and I really hope that you guys see it. And obviously I'm not even going to talk about writing, which is obviously phenomenal. Acting is really, really good. All of them very good actors. The Jonas actor, the younger Jonas, sometimes I think he's a decent actor, but I don't think he's as good as the other actors there. obviously the cinematography is just out of this world. It's just so beautiful. This series is very beautiful to look at, like on the the sets and how they film everything, the angles and the color grading and the music. Very good music. And yeah, I think it's just a great show, and I really hope that everyone sees this. I cannot wait. I think that they are making a third series. I'm not very sure, but I think they're making a third series, and I really hope they make more. Again, I thought they dealt really, really well with their gimmick, which is obviously time travel. Yeah, I think that is enough for today. This is going to be a slightly longer episode as well, about 40 minutes. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast again, guys. Thanks very much for all your support. Thanks very much for listening and watching my YouTube videos as well. Let me know in the comments what you think about Dark, and let me know what you think about the how to get more views videos. I personally do not like them at all. So again, thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. You can also follow me on Spotify or Anchor or wherever else you listen to your podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. Just write the Lazy Podcast and you will find this. And I will see you in the next one.